morning, good afternoon. Welcome to JCON Talk. I'm Emily Jiang from IBM. I'm a Java champion. I'm also Liberty Cloud Native Architect. So I work on MicroProfile, Open Liberty, and also Jakarta EE. So in today's talk, I'm going to talk to you about the latest about a MicroProfile. So hopefully after this talk, you will know MicroProfile 4.0, 4.1, and 5.0, what's in them. If you have any questions, and feel free to ask as we go along. And I have asked Alex to interrupt me whenever there's a question come up. So it's so this is the schedule for the agenda. So basically, I will give you a quick overview about MicroProfile 4.x, and then I'll do a quick demo, and then I will talk about the future roadmap. If you have any, any last minute questions, we have tried to put a few minutes at the end to answer the Q&A. This, as you might know, MicroProfile 4.0 was released like December last year. Is basically it was aligning with Jakarta EE 8. So as a consequence, is most of the MicroProfile specifications has kind of the bigger change, and 7 MicroProfile specifications have backward incompatible changes with the exception of the MicroProfile JWT. And also, this year in July, we did another release, is MicroProfile 4.1. In this release is only one spec update, which is Health 3.1. So basically, this is in response to the latest Kubernetes feature update with the addition of the startup probe. So this is kind of from day one on MicroProfile, from the first release to the current release, is kind of have been doing like a MicroProfile has been around for about nearly 5 years. And it's not nearly 5 years, just over five years. So we have been doing 3 releases per year, but last year and this year we kind of do a big shifting work. So last year we spent quite a bit of time to set up a working group and put all the process in place. So we did 2 releases, and this year we're hoping to do another 2 releases. Next year, and we are trying to get back to the 3 releases pattern. So up to now, and this is the latest, MicroProfile kind of roadblocks. So building blocks. So as you can see here is we borrowed like 5 Jakarta EE specifications, CDI, JAX-S, JSON-B, JSON-P, and also annotations. In the past, if you have, taken closer look of the building blocks, you saw, annotations appeared here. Actually, annotations was always in the invisible in the picture, but only in the 4.1 we properly and put the annotations in the road block building block here in the tower. And also it's kind of in the platform release, we have this 5 Jakarta EE spec and plus this 8 MicroProfile spec. We call it the platform release. When we do a release 4.1, 5.0, we just talk about left-hand side. On the right-hand side, they follow a different release schedule, so they can freely do any releases as you want. So earlier this year, long-running actions for them is here is this is how to do the cloud native transactions, so long-running actions, and also these reactive stream operators, reactive messaging, and also this is context propagation, how to propagate the context, for the synchronized programming model, and also the, how to do the query faster is using GraphQL. As I mentioned earlier, like last year, October last year, we managed to set up the working group. And so far, we have 10 working group members, is including IBM, Red Hat, Oracle, Piara, Tommy Tribe, Elastic, Fujitsu, and also 3 JAGs, Atlanta JAG, Garden State JAG, and iJAG. This is great, is we have kind of versatile community and including the companies and plus the JAGs working groups in the working group. So in the next few slides, I go deeper with all the kind of the MicroProfile releases. So it's let's look at photo 0 first. So in photo 0, like as I mentioned here, is kind of this is all Jakarta EE8 specifications. You know, Jakarta EE8 is exactly same as Java EE8, with the exception is Gov. So basically the Maven coordinator is different, but all the other functions, functionality and namespace all the same. And this is kind of the MicroProfile specifications. I wrote a really detailed blog on Open Liberty about describe what's in the MicroProfile 4.0. So it's afterwards I will share the slides. You can click the link and log on to see the details about the MicroProfile specification update. So I will quickly go through them, give you a quick bird's eye view in the MicroProfile 4.0. So first is config 2.0. So in config 2.0, we introduce the concept config profile. So basically you can specify which project phase you belong to, and then you use the naming convention percentage, and then is the profile name and dot, and specify the variable value. So in these circumstances, if it's saying is testing, and then if you look up vehicle.name, the bike will be used. The other thing is also the configure profile is worked on the property level and also work on the property file level. So in the MicroProfile -configure property, you can even do the the specify MicroProfile -configure -configure testing, and then this one will have a higher priority. For example, when you inject customer.name, and this one will be used. The other thing is that you can use a variable replacement. So it's basically it's in the config property, you can refer to other configs. So the URL will be the localhost :9080. So this one. There's the other thing is the configure properties support. So basically this is a specified way to aggregate the related configure properties into one object, into a type. So in here you say, oh, all prefix with the server, so describe the server, and then you can say, okay, this is server details. You can say prefix is the server, and then server.host. This will get exactly server.host, server.port, server.endpoint. If you want this one become this one you want to rename to be a location, you will do the add configure properties, the map to the server.old.location. So this is a kind of provide a way to how to aggregate this related configure properties into an object. So the other thing is also provide a way how to figure out which configure source supply the winning value. In this case, if you want to overwrite a particular property, maybe it's you'll have quite a few configure sources. You don't know which configure source the value is from, so you can directly either inject the configure value or use a program to look up config.get configure value. The other thing is fault tolerance 3.0. So it's this one is introduce one bigger change basically is simplify and standardize for the bulkhead and circuit breaker. So now it's saying, oh, its scope is per class, per method, is will own one bulkhead or one circuit breaker. If you have many instances of them, all of these instances share the same bulkhead or circuit breaker. And also there's another update. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Emily, sorry for interrupting. We have a question to config, MicroProfile config from Daniel. So can I use config 2.0 with WebLogic 14?
I'm not sure. I don't think WebLogic supports MicroProfile. You are better, if you are Oracle shop, you are better off to use a Helidon, but I don't think Helidon support config 2.0 either. So it's for the MicroProfile 4.0, I know OpenLiberty, Payara, and Wildfly support MicroProfile 4.0. So for the fault tolerance is metrics. Also we simplified the metrics for fault tolerance. If you have used the fault tolerance, you know you can get a metrics for how many times retried, how many times being folded back, and then you can create a Grafana kind of query. And previously we didn't use the tag, so the query is very complicated. Now is we use MicroProfile metrics tags. So the query is much more simplified. So the next one is MicroProfile Health 3.0. In this one, we removed the @health the annotation from the spec. And also is we introduce now the way is kind of the MicroProfile is not only support microservices, it supports the cloud native applications. It's a monolith, you can also use a MicroProfile. So in monolith, sometimes one runtime might have multiple applications deployed. And then it's kind of we introduced the concept is the overall readiness status for this health check endpoint readiness will be down until all the application has been started. However, you can override it using this property. The other change is we changed the health check response from state to status. So it's a map with the payload as well. So the next one is metrics 3.0. So this one is not a bigger change. So add some metrics for the simple timer, and also is add more metrics in the timer, and also in the JAX-S, the RESTful method automatically will give you all the metrics. And now is add one more metrics is also can tell you unmapped exceptions as well. So the next one is open tracing 2.0. So for this one, as you know, open tracing is and the standard and open sensors merged together form the open telemetry. However, before the merge, also is the open tracing API, like the latest API is 0.33. So in MicroProfile open tracing 2.0, we adopt 0.33 so that can work with the latest YAGO or Zipkin. So we did that change. So the next one is the Open API 2.0. We added the 3 new annotations. So schema, property, and request body schema, API response schema to simplify your Open API annotations. You can annotate on the method, and how can you describe your schema? How can you describe your property? Now you have more annotations. You don't need to repeat the over again in the different level. Now you have these new annotations, and also the 2 more interfaces were removed. So the next thing is REST client 2.0. the REST client has done a lot of updates. The first one is kind of support a couple more flavor or the multiple parameter. So so multiple values, params. So previously we only support these ones, multiple value. Now it can support comma separated, also the multiple is a kind of array multiples. So it's so for this one, support is directly support because enable your microservice to interact with other like the client because in other downstream maybe they expect this flavor comma separate. In other like in different backend meta expect this kind of flavor. The other thing is the MicroProfile REST client, and when they invoke the backend, now is also support. You can go through the proxy and then go through the endpoint. So the third one is redirect. You know, it's when we like create a website, and sometimes we say, oh, okay, we need to change the we need to create a brand new page, and then you will also want to help the existing customers. So you will do a redirect. And then previously, if you don't do redirect, the customer will get a 307. And then is after the MicroProfile REST client, if you specify redirect, you will get all the traffic direct from the old side to the new side. The final one is the service and the event. So it's basically the client and you know is in the JAX there's the SSE support, but previous in REST client it didn't support this. Now is we also support the service and the event. So yeah, and later on I'm hoping to have a quick demo on the REST client. So the next one is, by the way, there's a video done by Andy McCrae is about demonstrate the whole feature of the MicroProfile REST client. So here's a link, and after the talk, you can, if you are interested, you can have a quick look at that video. So the other thing is the JWT 1.2. So in JWT 1.2, we add support the JSON algorithm ES256. So previously we only support RS256. Now is we also support encrypted token, so you can encrypt JWT. And also is previously your JWT can only appear on the authorization header. Now it's you can also configure to say actually this token can go through a cookie, so you can specify mp.jwt token or header, you can say cookie, and then it's a kind of the backend will be able to look for the JSON token from the cookie. So if you also if you use the ES256, you have to provide a specified way or private key to be able to decrypt. This is encrypted JSON web token. So there's also there's a video done by Adam Yahoo, is one of my colleagues, and I tell you everything about JWT 1.2, about setup and etc. So it's if you are interested, and check it out. So let me quickly go to the MicroProfile 4.1. So in MicroProfile 4.1, so it's basically there is there's no other change except the MicroProfile Health 3.1. So it's also we have like a blog page about MicroProfile 4.1. So check it out to learn the details about MicroProfile like 4.1. But in the next page, I will just tell you more about like MicroProfile Health 3.1. In the MicroProfile Health 3.1, as I mentioned earlier, in response to the latest Kubernetes update. So previous Kubernetes have a liveness probe and a readiness probe. So in MicroProfile, we have a corresponding checks. One of the is a liveness check. The other one is a readiness check. And then is I mean, in the latest release of Kubernetes is also added startup prop. So the startup prop was introduced to take into consideration of the monoliths. And a lot of monoliths is quite bulky. So they start up quite slow. And in this case, is kind of if they start up really slow and liveness kick in, and then it's so, oh, now started QA, and then you run into the deadlock situation. So it's basically keep on starting it and then killing it, start it, and then killing it. So with that requirement, so that startup probe was introduced. In startup probe, it says actually Kubernetes only check this startup probe, and before the startup probe set up, it will not touch liveness, will not touch readiness. So basically, it's kind of give them like the old application monoliths and containerize it, and you can like specify your startup. You can tell the container, oh, hey, also I'm slow, I'm finally up. And then it's kind of the Kubernetes can, and then engage liveness and readiness. So it's in the with that with this requirement in MicroProfile Health, we introduced annotation at startup and also the endpoint /health/started. So if this started sets up, and then these ones will kick in. If it says down, and this one will not be checked. So by the way, you have you can like one microservice or one application. You can have multiple like startup check, but eventually they all aggregate together, and they do a like mix up. And if all of them sets up, and this one overall will be up. If one of them sets down, and this one will be down. Okay, so I have gone through quite quickly about MicroProfile 4.0 and 4.1. So how to get started? So it's in MicroProfile, we have the tool is called a MicroProfile Starter. So it's start.microprofile.io. This is kind of the website. You can create your microservice. You can choose either Maven or Gradle. The Gradle addition was recently available. So it's now if you're a Gradle user, now you can use this like a tool directly create a Gradle. And also we also have a VS Code extension pack. Like if you use the VS Code and you can install MicroProfile extension pack. And it has language server support, so help you to do the coding and etc. And also is kind of has some other like runtime support, like OpenLiberty tool, Quarkus tool, Payara tool, and etc. So everything you need will be in the like regarding MicroProfile and also the lightweight server, and you can get from MicroProfile extension pack. If you are IntelliJ user, you can get a JBrain MicroProfile Starter as well, the plugin as well. So you can install that, and then you can start creating your MicroProfile applications. Also, is in some other runtime, like OpenLiberty, I think Quarkus, they also offer like their own starter. In OpenLiberty, we have a starter. And then is, you know, as you might know, OpenLiberty support strong support for Jakarta EE and MicroProfile. So it's you can basically when you create cloud native applications, you might use both them together, so they work together quite nicely. So it's you can specify which version of Jakarta EE or which version of MicroProfile you want, and then you can generate your project. So with that, I can go to the quick demo. Before I go to the demo, let me see whether there's any questions. So this is in order to save time, and this is kind of the application I have created. So I created directly use like the extension pack, for example. Like if I do that, I have the MicroProfile extension pack installed. I do MicroProfile generate a starter, and then give the group ID, artifact ID, and then you choose which version. At the moment, the MicroProfile 4.0, I know it's because it was released in July. And OpenLiberty is the first implementer for the 4.0. Also, is the OpenLiberty was was used to release the MicroProfile 4.0. So it's well, we are waiting for other runtime to support 4.1. Once we have another one like announce their certification, we can add the 4.1 on this tool as well. So you can do that 4.1, and then as you know, 4.0 like OpenLiberty Wildfly PR supported. You can go to OpenLiberty if you want, and then also you can choose Java version. We support E8 and not E8, Java SE8, Java SE11. Actually, we are also going to add 17, so need to have that discussion soon in the MicroProfile. And then you can choose either Maven or Gradle, and then you can choose what kind of things you want to demonstrate. As you can see, you can also choose GraphQL. For this one, is only available in OpenLiberty because I don't think PR supported. Not sure about the Wildfly, but anyway, I created this application using this tool. In order to save time, I have everything set up, and also is you can see my POM XML. So it's in the POM I say okay, I use the Java 11, and the MicroProfile version I directly changed to be 4.1. So if you specify this one, is all the APIs in the MicroProfile 4.1 will be available to you, and also is I specify the Liberty plugin. I think Maven Wall, and also the this is the Liberty Maven plugin is very powerful. So it's it supports like demo mode. I will give to demo in a minute. So it will pick up change as we go along, and also is you can specify the Jaeger client version. You can use it because the photo has an update on the MicroProfile open tracing from like 0.31 to 33, which means you can use latest Jaeger client and also the login and etc. So then is in the Liberty configuration. So here I just say, okay, I want everything about MicroProfile 4.1. So it's so for the resources, I have like the application. Also, I have a JAVAPRO resources. So it's this one is all-in-one. So it's JAVAPRO I can specify all the endpoint here. Like before I go any longer, let me start my application, my microservice. I can do, as you can see here, Maven Liberty dev. I will start this microservice in the background, and then I can do like more coding as we go along. So as you can see here, is automatically started, and it's live on the localhost 9080. This if you want to know what's in this application, and you can go in here. You can see localhost 90 use Open API. Also, OpenLiberty supports MicroProfile Open API. Also, is add the UI as well. So you can see all the endpoint here. So you no longer need to work out what the endpoint do I have. So you can use the OpenAPI directly, it will tell you. So let's go back here. So now we know it's up and etc. So it's the first thing I want to show you is here in the config. So here we inject the config config value discount. As you can see here, I have a VS Code MicroProfile extension pack plugged in. So the language server support also, if I do it here, it tell me, okay, what kind of property available to me. So in here, I specify discount. Here it said, okay, you have many related discount in this file. As you can see here, I specify discount 30 and percentage dev discount 10 and percentage prod discount 70 and percentage test discount 50. If I say here is the test, so I would expect the 50 will be used. So it's let's go back here. So this is my this endpoint. So we can test it out. So that would be we can do either do a curl command, http localhost 9080/demo/config. As you can see here, it says 50. Yeah. So if I change here to be a prod, I say okay, is a prod. So here I will expect this one will say 70%. See, you can see it's a 70. And you might say, okay, so what? So it's however, I said you use this one to be able to control which phase. In this case, like if you move your project from one phase to a separate phase, and you don't need to change your property, other property values and etc. You only need to tweak around this np.config.profile. And this one can be live outside your application, can be anywhere as an environment variable or somewhere in the Kubernetes and etc. So this is the one thing. The other thing is the kind of the I mentioned earlier. So you provide the one thing is in the config, you can use one property can reference other properties like a config first name and surname. And also there's another way to aggregate the relevant values into a type. So in this case, like I have this one, the CDI bin, I annotated with the config properties and the prefix is customer. So this one will directly get customer.name. This will all become injection point. So this one we inject with the customer.name, customer.age, customer.nationality. And then in the in your code here, you can directly inject, it's inject config properties, customer detail. You will get all the customer name, age, nationality, and into one object, customer details. The other thing is you can see here, the other way is all this prefix is client. However, the structure is the same. And you can still do the same thing. However, you can override a prefix. You say, hey, I don't, my properties does not start with the default prefix. My start with the client as a prefix. So that would be a client or name, age, and nationality. So it's this is a kind of, and then in this URL, you directly add them both. So I will expect the Bob the Builder and the Spider-Man and both populated under the URL the /config props. Demo config props. So you can see it's also is in JSON format. Let's make it kind of more visible from the website. So here you can see this is the kind of is the collection. So that's kind of the quick demo of the config. So I will do another quick run through of the REST client. So it's for REST client. So it's basically I mentioned earlier about query prompt styles. So basically now you can say, okay, if you build the client, and also you can specify query prompt style. You can say multi-pair or comma separated or array pairs. So here, how it works, it basically is you build up the client, and also in this application, it directly register filter. So filter hijack this response, this request, and directly just print out the your parameter and then return aborted. So it doesn't need a backend full implementation of it. Just trying to show you what would be like. So it's let's see. So this will be the you see so you will directly see the multi-pairs. So it's displayed as is comma separated, and also the array pairs. So this is kind of the so basically the highlight is this method query prompt styles. So next one is redirect. So this is kind of the in this code basically is you trying to poke the older URL. And the older URL, if you do not specify redirect, you will get 307. So this is the older URL. So it's the older URL is in this one, older location /old, and then it's a new location. So the old one is directly trying to like redirect it to the new one. And in the client, if you directly to do the redirect client, is basically is if it's trying to invoke the old, and then is kind of the if you do not specify follow redirect, you will directly get 307. So this one you expect to get 307. This one you will expect to get 200, because here it's saying follow redirect. So let's see. As you can see here, like this is the first response for this is the first part of response up to here. So is you get 307, and this one is like a second part, you get 200. So next one is SSE. So basically service and event. So in this way, is kind of the client directly subscribe to the backend. So the backend is basically is publishes some message. So basically in this one, spit out the alphabet. So it's in here, like in the, so this is the client. So it's specify how many event is interested and etc. And then in this one is the implementation of SSE client. So directly, if you know the JDK9, the reactive programming, and probably you will understand this. You need to subscribe, and then you need to implement the annex on error and on complete. So basically, this one is saying on next is you expect more things, and you will cancel it after the certain amount of data you received. So it's basically you can do a subscription or cancel, and etc. And then here is kind of basically is connect the backend is finished or sending all the messages, etc. Here will be complete. So it's also in order to demonstrate this, is the client has sent to the like a TCP channel. So here the channel is running, and is the TCP channel is listed on the 9070 and then forward to 9080. So if I directly to have like this one, so it's I send it to the. So I send it to the 9070. I say interested in 25, and cancel after no, it will be 25 like a message sent and cancel after 30. So basically the server side will send like 25, and the client wait a bit, and then eventually we will get all of them. So it's so that will be look at the server side and to Y, and the client side gets everything to Y. If you say the other thing, you say actually like the number event server side send is kind of more, but the client side I want to cancel it after 10. So it's here you can see the like the TCP channel can see is did up to K, but the client only count 10, so it's up to J and then throw away K. So this is a quick run through of the SSE end. So let me quickly go back to the slide again to quickly go through, I mean, what next? So up to now, I have gone through all the MicroProfile 4.x. So what we are working on, currently we are working on the MicroProfile 5.0. So basically, as you know, Jakarta EE is the Jakarta EE had 9.1 released this year. So MicroProfile trying to align with Jakarta EE 9.1. However, this alignment is quite big because all the namespace changed from JavaX to Jakarta. So this involved all of the MicroProfile specifications need to be bump their major versions. They have backward incompatible changes because of the namespace. However, in order to minimize the migration in the MicroProfile 5.0, we don't allow any other functional changes in this spec. We only allow like the dependency change from Jakarta JavaX to Jakarta X. So at the moment we are using, like I'm driving this effort and also using trying to use OpenLiberty to release the specifications. So stay tuned, and we are actively working on the 5.0. So hopefully either like this year we could release 5.0. If not, it won't be, might be quite early next year. So I'm still helpful to have 5.0 released this year. So the other like future roadmap is, as I mentioned earlier, the open tracing and open scissors merged, become open telemetry. In MicroProfile, open tracing is like based on the open tracing. So that goes without saying, we have to align with the MicroProfile open telemetry. So that's ongoing. If you are interested, please get in touch with me. I will directly get you invited into the group. And similarly for the metrics, MicroProfile metrics currently is adopt drop wizard. However, there's a kind of now is micrometer is become very popular. So also there's a new work like just ongoing and trying to investigate how to easily adopt micrometer. Again, if you are interested in this effort, get in touch with me. So I'm facilitating these activities. So the third activity is Jakarta config. So as we know, MicroProfile config is really popular and gained a lot of support. And also Jakarta technologies specifications need a config. So and then is there's a like we want a move a MicroProfile config to the Jakarta land so that Jakarta specs can depend on it. and then MicroProfile can consume like a JAVAPRO config and integrate with the others. So at the moment, we are still kind of trying to work on the proposals and etc. So there's JAVAPRO config like GitHub repo created, but we are defining all the functionalities and how to do like all this move and etc. So there's a lot of conversation happening. So with that, nearly towards the end of this presentation, I'm very happy to announce recently I co-authored a book called Practical Cloud Native Java Development with MicroProfile. So everything I mentioned here will be in this book with, I mean, real world use case and about all the MicroProfile specifications. And I have a good news for you. For all of my attendees here, around 56 of us, and have a chance to win this, I have one printed copy to give away and 3 ebooks to give away. With the ask is you can post the Amazon comment, review comment, if you can. So this is, if you can't win this book, you can order it from Amazon. So this is a short URL, ibm.base/microprofile book. So how can I decide who's winning? So basically after the talk, I will tweet a quick question. So you answer it. However, in your reply, you need to follow me so that I can like have a private conversation, ask your email address, and your name and etc. And also you comment it and like also you say I attended your talk, so that I only want to give away to my attendees. So this is a special offer for you. So with that, one last page is all the like awesome blogs and helpful docs for you to to read. And finally, this is my Twitter handle, Emily FH Jiang. And if you could follow me, and also is to read my tweet and answer the questions. So with that, let me stop sharing. So I think I have 2 more minutes for questions. Are there any questions? Let me see the chat. So I have not seen any other questions. Okay. If no questions, and let me in the chat, let me see my Twitter handle again. So this is my Twitter handle, and in your reply to my message, let me see the, yeah. When you reply to my tweet, you can say, I attended your JCON talk. Then you can, I know it's kind of you are eligible for the book and etc. So it's for the book, you can, when I get in touch with you, you can, we can say, we can discuss whether you want an ebook or hard copy. I only have 1 print and 3 books. And then it's kind of the, for the printer copy, you have to live in the EU and the UK or the US. Okay, great. Thank you very much. That's the end of this talk.